Hello and welcome back to Tuk Tuk Travels. First of all, I'd like to apologise for my long absence. I've been working on a few other projects which have taken up a lot more of my time than I thought. But I am back and hopefully I'll get back on track soon. As I mentioned at the end of my last video, after my parents had gone home and I'd finished my time in Chiang Mai, I travelled down to Bangkok to meet my friend Zoie. Now, I've known Zoie since I was about 4 or 5 years old. We went through infant school and junior school together before separating for secondary school or high school. Now, it just shows you how good friends we are without seeing each other for 5 years, really. By the time we rejoined each other in college, we were best friends again. And then that's lasted since the age of 5 upwards. So it was really lovely she came to visit me. I should also mention, for 1 year she worked in the biomedical labs of Cornell University in New York City. This was in 2011, I believe, yes. And I went out and visited her for 2 weeks. So this was her repaying the favour and coming to visit me while I'm in Thailand. So she came to stay, and while she was here we arranged to have quite a busy schedule so we could show her as much of Thailand as I possibly could. Starting in Bangkok, on the first day she arrived we took it quite slowly and we went to Loha Prasat, which is the 37-spired temple I've already spoken about, followed by the Golden Mount, again I've already spoken about, the big shiny gold temple. This was really all we did on the first day. I think then we went to Siam and had dinner before going back. But you can't really blame her after a long flight. Mumbai as well as a stopover is not the easiest airport to negotiate. On our second day, we first of all started by going to the Grand Palace. It was nice to have a look around again. You see things differently the second time around. So it's nice to have a look. And we were bombarded by students who'd been... I swear there's a thing in Thailand. Students in high school get asked to go find a phalang and interview them. It's happened to me all over the country. And they're always really kind of like taken aback when you say, oh, I live here, I'm not a tourist. It kind of ruins their project, I think. But, so we had a few of those talk to us, which was nice. And then we jumped on the riverboat down to Chinatown. Now, one of the first places we went to was actually somewhere I'd never been before. It was the Holy Rosary Church. Now, this was built in 1768 and significantly restored between 1891 and 1898. A Portuguese church to begin with. It's a wonderful yellow colour, but it's actually quite nice. We went in and there was nobody there. So we had a look round and we see these stairs. So we're like, should we climb these? Yes. So we climb up and we find ourselves in the musical section and there's some more stairs. So we go, shall we climb these? Yes. So we climb up further and we're now in the stores in front of the stained glass windows, which was lovely light coming through. And I find some more stairs. So it's always a bit like, I'll sit out of this. And I climb up into the belfry. And I don't know if any of you have actually been up into a proper belfry of a church, but it's really quite amazing, just looking at all the bells. And I'm quite glad they weren't going off, to be fair. There were quite a few of them. But for something that can make so much noise, it was so peaceful being up there with nothing but the birds, the bats and the bells. So I liked that. After our little tour of Chinatown and the Holy Rosary, we made our way to Wat Tlimit, which is the temple with the 5-foot solid gold Buddha. Unfortunately, we only had 5 minutes until it closed. So we went up quickly, took a few photos, but we had to leave before seeing the exhibits, which is a shame because the history of the Chinese in Bangkok was actually a really good exhibit when I went last time. But these things can't be helped. So after our very brief visit to Wat Tlimit, we jumped on the underground. The first time I've actually been on the underground, I should add. I usually go on the overground train. But we jumped on the underground up to Lumpini Park, and I took Zoe rowing, which was nice. Nice manly day, out for a row on the lake, and we watched the sunset over the park and the skyline, which was really lovely. And then headed back to our hotel. Our third and final day in Bangkok was pretty much just a relaxing day. We did some shopping, looked around a few of the malls, had we just relaxed. Nothing was planned, and we had the time to spare. And I think Zoe still wanted to sleep a bit after her flight, so that was fun. But the following day we got up early and got the train to Lopburi. Now, Lopburi is a city about 155 kilometres north of Bangkok, about an hour past Ayutthaya, the old capital. Now, I did like Lopburi, but as I've already seen Ayutthaya, it was a bit of a letdown. I mean, it's the same thing. There's some nice Ayutthayan temples there. They're just not as big as in Ayutthaya itself, obviously, nor in as good a repair. But one nice thing about Lopburi is it's overrun by monkeys. Completely overrun by macaques. They're everywhere. Well, everywhere in the old city. So we went to the monkey temple, which is Wat Flasli Latana. And they're everywhere. We made the mistake of buying some slushies from 7-Eleven before we went in. So they were all over us. At one point I had a couple climbing around my neck trying to drink my slushie. And a little like 5-year-old came up to us with a slingshot and blast them off, which was very handy. It's nice to have 5-year-olds around. But that was nice. In the end, I think we just tagged along with a French tour group, kind of avoid being harassed by monkeys. And we just pretended we spoke French, and they were like, oh, oui. Mais aussi, oui. But that was fun. But yeah, we went to a few of their temples, but unfortunately, because we went on a Monday, the main palace in Lopburi was closed. So the main thing to see there wasn't open, which is a shame. But we saw a couple of nice temples. And then we jumped back in the train for our next day in Ayutthaya. Now, arriving in Ayutthaya, I looked at my map and I said, okay, we crossed the river and the hotel was just up one of the side roads. So we go there, cross the river, and we're like, now which road is it? So we walk into 7-Eleven and ask the cashier. Never ask anyone in Thailand directions. If they don't know the way, to save face, instead of going, I don't know, they'll just point in a direction and go, oh, it's that way. Because they'd much rather lie to you and pretend they know than lose the face of going, I'm sorry, I don't know. So she said, oh, it's that way, just go there and then turn left. It's no time. I was like, cool, thank you. So we go out, we turn left, and we walk. And we walk. And we walk. After about 20 or 30 minutes, we're stopped by this car. It's a couple and their children. And they go, are you okay? So I showed them my map, and this lady scratches her head and kind of goes, no, over there. So very kindly of her, she talks to her husband and then shovels us in the back of the car with her children, nice and cramped with our bags, and drives us to her hotel, which is really lovely. Turns out, had we taken a right from the 7 and then literally taken the first road, that was the road we wanted. Just the 7 lady chose the wrong direction. But no, Ayutthaya was lovely. We woke up in the morning and we hired some bicycles for about 50 baht for the day, I think, so like £1 for the day, and we went on a cycling tour of Ayutthaya. Now, to give credit to Zoe, she did manage to keep up with me. I'm used to the heat for one, and I love cycling, so I'm zooming off the pocket over bridges and things, and Zoe's keeping up. I think I wore her out a little bit, and the poor thing burnt her arms. But she does a really good job of keeping up, so well done to her. But no, we had a really nice tour. We started at Wat Yai Chai Yamong Kon, which is a temple I visited before with the school children at Nombul Mak. Now, what I didn't know was this temple is actually famous for a reclining Buddha statue, which I didn't see then. So we walk in and I'm like, oh, it's right there. So it was nice to see something new. And then we jumped back on our bikes and headed to Wat Phnom Thiam. Now this was built in 1324, which is 26 years before the Kingdom of Ayutthaya was actually founded. But its main feature is a 19-metre high brick and mortar Buddha statue that's been gilded. This was built in 1334 and is one of the oldest and tallest Buddhas of its kind in Thailand. Interestingly, the temple is also a big hit for Chinese tourists because it was visited by Chiang He, who was an ambassador for the Ming Emperor. Now, after this, we jumped on our bikes and we cycled back across the bridge onto the island of Ayutthaya, right across the island and off the other side to carry around. Now, we then cycled all the way back to Wat Chai Wat Tanalong, which was built in 1630 as the first temple for the King Platak Pong. Now, that was nice. It could have been a lot better because they'd cornered off most of the temple, so you could walk around the outside, but you couldn't really go into it. Like most things on Ayutthaya, this was destroyed by the Burmese in 1667, but it wasn't rebuilt, so in 1767, but it wasn't at all rebuilt or, restored until 1987, which, considering it's one of the biggest tourist highlights in Ayutthaya now, is really quite staggering. While we were on this side of the island, we also went to St. Joseph's Church. Now, this was originally built in 1666 and was the first Catholic missionary church in Thailand, which is really quite interesting. Now, when the Burmese began to sack the city, many of the Ayutthayans took shelter in the church because it's just across from the river. However, this led to the Burmese destroying it in 1667. They completely levelled it to the ground. And it was actually destroyed 10 days, just 10 days before the city of Ayutthaya fell, which is a shame. Anyway, it was rebuilt in 1891 and is still one of the leading Catholic churches to the day in Thailand because of its history. Lots to go. We also visited Wat Phut Thai Sawan. Now this was built in 1353 for the purpose of the new capital. It was the first temple built for the new capital, in fact, and there's not much left to it now, but it was nice. It was nice to look around. Yeah. Following this, the day was drawn to a close by now. Probably been cycling for a good 5 hours. We cycled back to the centre of the island, to Wat Phra Mahat That. Now this is probably the most famous temple in Ayutthaya. The temple itself is in ruins and it's nice to look around, but the main feature is a Buddha head that's slowly being overgrown by the Bodhi tree that it's under. So all around this head you have the roots of the Bodhi tree going around, and it's really quite a spiritual place. It was lovely to see that. But there's so many statues as well without their heads, which are just as powerful. It was a very nice end to the day. So we went there, dumped our bikes off, and then got the train back to Bangkok for our night stay before heading on to Kanchanaburi in the morning. So I don't bore you for too long. I'll stop this video here and continue with the rest of Zoe's adventures in my next video. I hope you've enjoyed it, as always, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye.